Do you remember those days when you had no idea about addiction, NoFap meditation, or overall self-improvement, like when you were 11, 12, or 13 years old? You used to spend 5, -1, or even 7 hours playing video games regularly, and you enjoyed it. You didn't regret it back then. Not like today, when you feel bad about wasting hours of your day. Think your life is going downhill. Back then, you didn't question your time spent. You simply enjoyed every moment of it. Some of you even started gaming channels, thinking that gaming would shape your future. Maybe even dreaming of becoming the next big thing, like Karamanati or the best player in some game. But now who knows where that gaming channel has ended up. At that time, you had no clue what self-improvement was or why it mattered. You were simply living life, indulging in all sorts of habits, especially after discovering things like porn. You were regularly indulging in it, and rather than avoiding it, you might have even set challenges to maintain a fap streak. But back then, you didn't feel regret like you do now. You didn't look down on yourself the way you do today. In fact, back then, you enjoyed it all without the heavy guilt. Things could have been worse if you'd come across someone online telling you that porn is healthy, which by the way is completely false. Ultimately, you were wasting your life, but you didn't feel the weight of it at the time. Nowadays things are different. You know everything about self-improvement, at least 80 to 85% of it. You know how competitive the dating market has become. You know that if you want to achieve your ideal lifestyle, drive that Lamborghini, or have financial freedom, you need discipline and control. Every time you watch porn now, you regret it. You start to look down on yourself, questioning why you did it, wondering what went wrong. Whenever you spend even a small amount of time playing video games, just to pass the boredom, you promise yourself you'll only play for half an hour, but those 30 minutes quickly turn into 3 hours in. Every single time you feel that regret creeping in, lowering your self-esteem a little more with each poor decision. The more you indulge in habits like porn, video games, or junk food, the worse your self-esteem gets. It's a cycle. Every time you go back to those bad habits, your self-esteem drops, and the more it drops, the less you respect yourself. Self-esteem is essentially the value you place on yourself. And when that's low, you don't care for yourself the way you should. Why would you care about something that you don't value? This cycle repeats itself. Indulging in bad habits lowers your self-respect, and in turn, you continue to spiral into those very habits that are ruining your life. As the cycle completes, each time you slip further into a literal hell, and before long your life becomes a mess, and you stop caring about your future altogether. The reality is that every time you indulge in bad habits like porn, gaming, or overeating, you are consciously lowering your self-worth. And the moment your self-worth drops, so does your self-care. You no longer care about improving yourself or making your life better. Instead, you sink deeper into a lifestyle filled with unhealthy habits. You might start repeating the same mistakes over and over again, watching porn, playing video games, and mindlessly wasting time because it feels comfortable. But what you don't realize is that, with every round of these habits, your self-esteem diminishes. And as your self-esteem goes down, you become even more drawn to the very things that are destroying you. The cycle is vicious. Bad habits lead to lower self-esteem, which in turn makes you care less about yourself. And then you dive deeper into those same habits. Each time this cycle completes, you fall a little further, repeating the loop over and over. As your self-worth declines, you start to care less about your life and your future. You stop seeing yourself as someone deserving of better things. Then your motivation to change dwindles. In time, you become trapped in a never-ending loop of self-destruct. Life becomes literal hell, where each day is just a repetition of bad choices, regret, and wasted potential. The longer you stay in this loop, the harder it becomes to break free. This pattern of indulging in bad habits and the resulting drop in self-esteem is incredibly dangerous. It doesn't just affect your self-respect, but it also kills your ambition. When you're trapped in this cycle, you start believing that you don't deserve success or happiness. You see others working hard, achieving their dreams, and living the lives they always wanted, and it feels like they're miles ahead of you. The worst part is you know you could do the same. If only you could break out of this destructive cycle. But every time you try to break free, something pulls you back in. Whether it's boredom, stress, or the comfort of old habits, it's as though you're stuck in quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. Eventually this pattern becomes so ingrained in you that you start thinking it's normal. You normalize your bad habits and even make excuses for them. You might say it's just one more time, or I'll quit tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes. As the days turn into weeks and weeks into months, you realize that your life has been slipping through your fingers. While you were busy drowning in bad habits, the dreams you once had, whether it was to get fit, become successful, or even improve your social life, seem farther away than ever. Instead of moving forward, you're stuck in place, constantly battling the same internal demons that are holding you back. However, there is a way out. The key to breaking this cycle is to regain control over your self-worth and discipline. It begins with the understanding that you are worth more than the bad habits you've been indulging in. Real change starts when you decide to step away from these destructive behaviors. Even if it feels uncomfortable at first, you won't see result immediately, but every small decision to avoid those harmful habits is a step towards a better life. It might start with something as simple as choosing to spend 30 minutes reading a book instead of playing a video game, or taking a walk outside instead of binge watching a series. These small choices, when made consistently, can slowly rebuild your self-esteem and pull you out of the destructive loop. As you begin to make better choices, you'll notice something incredible. Your self-respect starts to grow. You start to value yourself more, because you're no longer a prisoner to your bad habits. And as your self-respect rises, so does your self-care. You begin to take better care of your body, mind, and even your future. Suddenly things like personal goals and financial freedom don't seem so far away. You'll start to believe that you deserve those things, because you've worked hard to earn them. And that's where the true transformation happens. The cycle that once trapped you in despair and regret starts to reverse itself. You break free, step by step, and with each step you get closer to the life you always wanted. But breaking free from this cycle ain't easy. It requires discipline, effort, and most importantly, a shift in mindset. You must understand that your current situation is not permanent. No matter how far down you've fallen, you always have the ability to climb back up. You might face setbacks along the way, and there will be days when you slip back into old habits. That's okay. What's important is that you don't let those setbacks define you. Each time you fall, you need to get back up stronger and more determined. The key to long-term success is persistence, not perfection. The road to self-improvement is not a straight line, but as long as you keep moving forward, you will eventually reach your destination. One of the best ways to regain control is to surround yourself with people who are also striving for self-improvement. Whether it's joining a community, following self-discipline influencers, or simply talking to like-minded friends, being around others with similar goals can be incredibly motivating. These people can help hold you accountable, provide support during tough times, and remind you that you're not alone in this journey. Self-improvement doesn't have to be a solitary experience. When you have others by your side, it becomes easier to stay committed, and over time you'll see just how much your life can change when you prioritize yourself and your future. As you continue to rebuild your life, you'll find that many of the things you once found comforting, like video games or porn, start to lose their appeal. You begin to see them for what they really are: distractions. These distractions might have provided temporary relief from boredom or stress, but they never truly satisfied you. In fact, they only served to pull you further away from the life you wanted to create. Once you step away from these distractions and focus on what really matters, your health, your goals, your relationships, you'll realize just how much time you've been wasting. This realization can be painful at first, but it's also incredibly liberating. The freedom that comes from breaking these habits is unmatched. Imagine a life where you no longer feel guilty after wasting hours on meaningless activities. Instead, you wake up each day with a sense of purpose, knowing that you're moving closer to your goals. You start to experience real joy and satisfaction from the progress you're making in your life. Whether it's hitting a fitness milestone, learning a new skill, or advancing in your career, these accomplishments bring a level of fulfillment that distractions never could. It's in these moments that you'll truly understand the value of discipline and why it's worth every bit of effort you've put in.